looks more of a target ban to me rather than a normal ban in a ranked game, because you don't see Lee Sin getting banned too much, but I think it's a target ban towards the jungler on the blue side.
Probably, and to be honest, for me, I always ban Lee Sin, but that's just me because I like whenever I'm playing bottom lane, I don't want enemy enemy jungler to like come camp my lane. And the thing about Lee Sin for me is that all his abilities are just instantaneous, and he's so fluent to play. And if you're playing champions like Tristana, you just know like you can't really do much against the Lee Sin, even though you can like ult him and jump away. Your abilities do take a lot of time. But the Z ban and the Ribbon ban coming through, and blue team does in fact first pick Wukong, and they might be.
Or actually, just let's wait for them to settle on the champion.
If they do pick Wukong, they'll have a solid top laner like we saw last time. The Wukong kicking Nasus completely in the lane and owning it. But I'm not sure if it's going to be Mundo. But yeah, it does in fact turn out to be the Wukong ban, or not the Wukong ban, the Wukong first pick. Although there are other champions like Jarvan and Wyatt that could be first pick because they are really, really good in the current meta. But we'll have to see if purple side or red side decides to pick us up.
And here the red side has chosen Leona.
Yep, Leona and Jarvan, two solid picks. And like I did say before in my previous casting, Leona is just a solid champion. You might argue, well, there are better champions like Nami and other champions that could potentially win people the lane. But the thing about Leona is that she will never die in lane if you just play it correctly. She is so tanky. And even you could argue, like, you could counter Leona with Morgana, but it's not really that big of a counter because Leona can stun more than one person outside of lane, even if you do black shield one person, because you can only black shield one person. But blue side ends up picking Jinx and Yasuo. Yep.
Okay.
I'm not very sure about the Jinx pick because if Jinx doesn't have flash and if she gets ulted by Jarvan, she can't really escape. And I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure.
And here we have the red side picking Nasus as their top laner.
On the other hand, is a champion which is very much in the meta right now. Some might even say she is a bit imbalanced, but the late game scaling of Jinx is just too hard to handle right now. So Jinx is looking at a very good pick with Yasuo. The only thing I fear about blue team is they lack AP right as of now.
I feel like Jinx could be better in late game than early game because Graves will just out-trade Jinx early on unless Jinx can like poke him with the rockets. But what is Graves care? Because he has this like amazing passive that could pretty much tank everything and out-trade you with the Leona pick. I don't really agree with the Thresh pick. Hope they do not go with Thresh, but Annie could be worse in fact against a Leona because you can't really burst a Graves or a Leona bottom,
or Volibear.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the support pick though. I hope it's Thresh because it just gets worse and worse from the Annie pick. But we'll have to see how it goes into the game. Top lane pick, I guess it's Tryndamere against Nasus. Nasus does in fact counter Tryndamere with his Wither, stop him from split pushing, and be a late game monster himself, which Tryndamere scales into pretty well into the late game. And I'm not sure, like, whenever I play Jinx, I would appreciate somebody going tanky, because if there's somebody that could like peel and take up all the damage for me in the front line, I'd just be able to auto attack for free. But from my standpoint, from my perspective, I feel like purple team does in fact have the better composition against blue side, but we'll have to see once the game starts. And Akali does come in for the last pick. I believe Akali should be going mid unless there's a lane swap, which most likely does not happen down mid nowadays, but we'll have to see.
I don't know how this Annie support's gonna work out for Jinx, but we'll have to just see about that.
But yeah, Annie support was basically a do or die situation for them, because blue team has basically focused all their energy, and the entire team comp is AD heavy team comp. So Annie support was a basic necessity to do a little bit AP damage.
The thing about Annie is that she's a pick comp, right? If you use Annie, you want to like pick somebody off or like try to stun people and burst somebody down. But the thing is, on blue side, they all have tanks like Nasus. Like you can't burst a Nasus down. It'll take more than just the Tibbers and your abilities than just being able to kill him. And they have a Nasus, they have a Jarvan, they have a Leona. The only person you can really burst down, to be fair, is Kali, and like she could just double you around. Unless you have a pink ward, you can't really do as such. So like I feel like Annie pick isn't going to be that effective, but we can't really tell right now. We have to see how things play out in the game, and we do have 3 minutes of delay. What do you guys think about the team comms? Like, what do you think is going to be
against Akali? It's sure that at level 9 you would require the trinket, the sweeping lens against that Akali to
Yeah, that is true, but you have to hit level 9 first, and you have to buy the upgrades for the trinket, and you have to like specifically use it on Akali. Not like if you use it on Akali, you can't really clear out brushes or wards outside the map, which could potentially mean that you won't really deny vision for dragons or like any mid-game fights to take map control and stuff. And I don't know how this is gonna turn out, but I'm excited for this game, guys. Honestly, I'm like kind of pumped to see how this turns out. I am in favor of purple side to win, but it all comes down to how people play in team fights, who can survive, who can play better, and team comms only matter as such. It's like what can you say? It's like who plays better rather than team comms. But from the way the team comms looking, I'll bet my money on purple side. Well, I mean, what I meant to say about Lee Sin's ability being instantaneous is that there aren't any big cast times. When you compare it to Tristana's W, that thing is so sluggish. Like, even Zed's W isn't that sluggish when you think about it.
On an unrelated note, I really like the anime player's name.
I think it's a Japanese song.
It says Senbon Sakura Goke.
Yep.
Yep.
Wait about 50 seconds more until the game starts.
Senbon Sakura means 1,000 cherry blossoms.
Pretty name. It's a pretty name, in fact.
That's a Hatsune Miku song, actually.
Annie's level 19. She doesn't. Oh no, Jinx is level 19, I think.
The only thing which is bothering me right now a bit is that lock on Tryndamere, because Nasus counters Tryndamere pretty much, and he has still picked Tryndamere after the Nasus pick. So I don't know. I'm a bit skeptical about the blue side.
I'm not really sure about
his match histories. He's been playing quite a bit of Tryndamere, but he hasn't really had luck with it. I guess he's not really been doing that well. So we'll have to see how this one turns out. About Jinx though, she is level 19. I'm not sure about her runes and stuff. It looks like she probably doesn't have tier 3 runes, which could be the benefactor for deciding bottom lane. And yeah, well, the game is starting, in fact. Can't wait to get into the game. And for everybody that's been watching, welcome to the stream. Myself, I guys can call me Twisted Duck, and my co-caster here, Sarah and Obby. Welcome to the stream, I guess.
So, let's see who wins the skin battle. Right now, it's the purple side who's winning.
It is the purple side. It is the purple side. Warring Kingdom Jarvan, amazing skin, to be honest. Like, the ultimate is beautiful.
Galactic Nasus is a really pretty skin.
Yep, it is. It's blue. Like, what's not to like about blue, man? Like, come on, blues.
Anything related to space is amazing, hands down.
On the other hand, the blue team has 0 skins. So, the skin battle has totally been
0 skins and just one border at that.
Yep. And we see a gold border on the Graves against a level 19 Jinx. So it's going to be very interesting bot lane as of now.
Yep. Alright.
So, Duck, can you tell me a bit about Wukong jungle? Because in all the games we have played, I have never seen a Wukong jungle.
The thing about Wukong is that he can't. I'm not sure about the new jungle and stuff, so I'll let you take this one, Obby.
Well, Wukong jungle was a very in meta thingy in before pre-season 5 or season 4 end, because Wukong has high mobility, and with this E, and his Q is very effective against an AD carry. It stacks very effectively with the AD carry. So if he's ganging a Tryndamere or a Yasuo, the Q will reduce the armor resist, and they can deal more damage with Wukong's mobility and the red buff slow. Wukong is one of the most potent junglers with that ultimate, also making a good factor.
But the thing is, if Leona or somebody could lock Tryndamere, or not Tryndamere, Wukong inside with their ulti, or Jarvan could do the same, I feel like Wukong can in fact get countered, because Wukong is one of those mid-game champions, but judging from the 4 characters that I'm seeing, I'm not sure he'd be able to kill somebody early on, or even after mid-game. He won't really do as much damage as like a lot of people might hope for.
That's
not sure, man.
True. Because that's very true. But Wukong, I'm not entirely sure Wukong fits this kind of team combination.
It doesn't as much, but in like lane ganks it might.
Because Wukong is more of a wombo combo champion. You need a lot of AoE scaling players, a lot of AoE scaling champions to really get the whole effectiveness out of Wukong.
See, the thing is, it might work when you think about it. Like, Wukong is going to ult with Yasuo, and Yasuo ults on top. But the thing is, I'm not sure if that'll actually kill the enemy team, a Wukong and a Yasuo ulti. Because even if Wukong and Yasuo go on them, like, who's there to peel for Jinx? Like, Tryndamere can't really peel because he's going to be hitting. He's probably going to be dealing more damage than Jinx. And at least early on, to be honest, and Annie can't really do much. And if she uses her Tibbers for like defensive purposes, what is that, like a 1.7 seconds stun? What can Jinx do, to be honest?
Well, Tibbers can definitely not be used for defensive purposes.
Let me.
Well, the game has started right now,
and it has been.
Do let me know what time it is for you guys, so I can feel comfortable about talking. No, I mean in-game? No, it's 26
21
for me. Yeah, keep pressing the furthest viewed.
Oh my god, now it's 14 for me.
19, 20.
20. Okay,
21,
yeah, we're synced. 22,
23. Alright, let's start up. Wukong as their top laner, Bumblebee. Lunas Sanity for Yasuo on Yasuo in the mid lane. Evidex is 80 carries, and Banza Goke as Annie, and Gapu for their top laner. On the red side, Backbenchers, Rhino for their support, He-Man as their jungler, Scarecrow as their top laner, and Batusai as their 80s carry, and like Confused for their mid laner. It looks like they're going for Invade, which is warded. So Blue side clearly has vision of what's going on, but
before you start on it, I'm very surprised to see Annie starting with the Doran's ring and 2 health potions instead of support items. That is going to be very interesting seeing the bot lane, because Annie will be getting no farm unless she plans on hitting creeps with Jinx.
The thing about Doran's ring for me, it isn't really such a bad choice. I mean, of course, I would prefer the supportive starting items more than the Doran's ring. But the thing about Doran's ring is that you will have to, in fact, get a kill early on. Because if you don't really get rewarded for poking or really staying inside the lane. And you will lose out on a lot of gold. And Leona does, in fact, have her Relic Shield, which means she is going to outscale you in terms of gold per minute. And I don't know. I'm not sure with the exhaust pick either. Because you want Annie, you want to burst somebody down, you want to invade, or you want to, like, completely burst somebody down, and then the pause just come in fact, so we have to wait for
But I think Annie should have taken at least like a mana potion or so. Because she will run out of mana if she just keeps trying to poke, because I don't think she's going to be last hitting anything.
Yes, Annie doesn't have mana right now. Annie doesn't have wards right now. I don't know.
So at least she should have taken a mana potion.
Yep. And I prefer running Ignite myself on Annie.
Yeah,
because
likewise.
You already have a stun, so you don't need much of an exhaust. But
we'll see how this
the
turns
exhaust
out.
could be crucial against a Nasus running down Jinx for team fights. But to get to that point, you would have to like honestly be fed. If not, like the game is going to be turning towards purple side unless Wukong lands really good ults or really good ganks and gets their early game mid laner fed.
That's very true.
We are in fact waiting for Annie to connect. So I don't know. What do you think about the game? Like who do you think is gonna win between both of the teams?
Right
Who do you
now,
have your money on?
Right now, my money is completely on the purple side because
As it is here.
Because the blue side is looking very weak right now as a team comp, as their pickups, as their item pickups, and yeah, altogether the purple side looks much stronger.
One more thing I want to touch upon is that blue side don't really have any AP champions apart from Annie, and like minusing Annie because she's just a support and she can't really get a lot of AP items per se. Nasus, Jarvan, they all build tanky, right? If they just build armor, they can completely negate the damage blue side can do, and that really dims or diminishes the amount of damage that Wukong and the Yasuo comp brings into the team for blue side. And I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I'm really on purple side. I feel like Yasuo might not be able to work out the back for purple side.
Once the Nasus and the Jarvan get their tank going on, and the Leona gets her tank going on, and Akali gets completed with her Zhonya's Hourglass, Yasuo is pretty much useless the entire game. He has only one target left. That's
the thing is, I'm not sure about Yasuo even dueling a Graves per se with Graves' 10 passive stacks. I mean, he can kill in fact if he gets fed, like with an Infinity Edge and a Static Shiv maybe with his E and his Q. But I don't know, man. It looks really good for blue side. But what I do hope is that Annie hopefully should reconnect pretty soon so that we can get this game underway. I'm not sure what is happening on her end, but see what you guys say.
I think you should be thanking Indian internet providers for this.
That's very true. Things do turn out to be not as you expect sometimes. And we really apologize for this wait time.
Alright, it looks like she reconnected and the pause will resume in 3, 2, and 1. Alright, I'm just saying that so that we can sync up together. Alright. Purple side starting with the golems. I'm not sure why they don't start the rugs, but a lot of teams have been doing that recently.
I would prefer to start off with the Grugs because the poison buff is just too much. Annie's still on the mid lane. I don't know
I'm not sure what she's doing. Maybe it's a communication issue between the teams on who goes mid. But she is going to miss a lot of effective XP on the bottom side, which is going to be highly favorable for Leona. Once she hits level 2, she'd just be able to combo them. And yeah, we'll have to see how this one turns out.
Annie's gone down to bottom lane now.
The thing that is really worrisome for me about Annie is that she's got her Q, which isn't that bad, but judging from how late you show up in lane, I don't feel like it's such a good idea because she can't really stack up for stun. And Leona's already level 2
here.
She's already level 2, zoning out Annie and Jinx, and it's not looking very good for blue side.
I would have personally preferred to take that W and get it going.
Yeah. Nas is putting the pain on top lane, pushing Trinity down under the tower.
We have Yasuo attempting to poke
and Annie taking that Harris pretty hard.
I don't think Yasuo is going to have that much issue against Akali because Akali doesn't really have her ult and she really only gets going after she gets her ulti. But what I would really hope for blue side...
half HP.
What I really hope for blue side is that Wukong hopefully should try to gank mid and try to get a few kills and get the Yasuo rolling. And Yasuo, if he can like gank bottom and get bottom rolling, that'll probably be the best option for blue side.
Annie is losing a lot of mana.
If you notice right now, Annie has just 17 ability power. that means that there is some mess up in the rune or mastery page coming in game for Annie. I don't really know what it is, but they have messed up.
Also, one more thing I want to touch upon is that Jinx is in fact level 19. She doesn't really have any tier 3 runes, I believe.
Yep.
Which could really gimp her damage early on. Like, honestly,
like you can
for me
see,
personally,
Annie
like
has
it makes such a
71
difference.
Damage.
Yeah, it
Like
makes such a difference early game having 80 runes on an 80 carry than without it.
That's very true. Like you can see, Annie has 71 damage and Jinx had 77 damage with the Doran's blade. So
Graves is at 83, which is like 10 more than, well, 12 more than Annie.
Yep.
Wukong clearing out his jungle, recalling back to base. Let's see what he buys. Hopefully he should end up buying some wards for the early game. But Jinx almost dies to Graves and Leona. She has to back, in fact, or she's
Annie
gonna
has
stay
her stun, but
chugging her potions.
Kind of skeptical whether she'll actually be able to land it and make it worthwhile.
I'm not sure about Jinx's thinking here. She's
both
taking
junglers
really...
both junglers going for the Stalker's blade. Actually, I'm not sure I would build a Stalker's blade on Jarvan because it already has a lot of CC.
That is true. Jinx recalling back to base. She gets a boot. She gets boots of speed and 5 potions because she's aware that she's not going to have any sustain, straighting up to Leona and Graves. But Jarvan's showing some presence into the mid lane, showing that he is in fact there, that Yasuo should be careful about being too aggressive on an Akali without an ultimate. And she's going to hit level soon pretty fast. Level 6 pretty fast. And then going to go down for Yasuo.
And Annie does not seem to be in a very safe position.
Wukong ganks is pretty solid on top, but they can't really kill the Nasus as he's too tanky. He's about 2 levels higher than the Wukong, and the Wither does in fact negate a lot of damage Tryndamere is able to put out on top of the Nasus when he ganks for them. But I don't know, man. Wukong has to buy wards. In fact, if he can like stop the ganks from Nasus or stop the ganks from Jarvan. Because Jarvan's ganks are going to be way better than Wukong's, at least the pre-level 6 gank, because now Jarvan has a free knock-up on his E and Q, but Wukong's laners don't really have any hard CC except for Annie, who's not really doing that well in bottom lane. And honestly, to be fair, bottom lane is way tankier than their mid lane. So, just because of the sheer passive Graves gets and Leona's tankiness that she gets from W on her stats as a champion, I guess.
Graves Leona is basically one of my favorite lanes to play because it's so much CC and so much AoE damage.
I wouldn't call it too OP, but it is definitely a strong lane because you have a lot of killing, dueling power.
I don't definitely know that flash was necessary though from Akali, but still a flash to use nonetheless.
Yeah.
And Tryndamere is at half health, while Nasus is at full.
It shouldn't really matter
not turn
that
out
much
well.
as Tryndamere has his heal from his passive and Nasus isn't looking all that aggressive.
And he...
I'm kind of let down by the Jarvan. I was expecting more ganks.
Definitely going to die.
He does in fact die. Graves takes the first blood. Leona is about to kill her, but
and
Graves...
Jinx nearly died, but somehow managed to survive.
Yeah,
she should have healed a bit sooner. I don't know if that would have saved Annie or not, but it definitely would have helped her. And yeah, that's first blood for blue side. Wukong is taking out the ward
or red
try.
side, you mean?
Yep. Red side. Top lane just being a farm lane as usual in every game.
Let's just see the difference between creeps. In
Not
top
much.
lane, Tryndamere has 29, well, Nasus has 64. That's a huge
Graves
difference.
has 70, while
Graves
Jinx has
70.
19.
Jinx has 19. Again, a huge difference coming out. Mid going similar, and the jungle also a difference of 9 CS.
Well, it doesn't
So
really
right
look that
now-
good for blue side if they lose early game this bad, and Tryndamere wasting his flash does not really need to use it, however. Yeah.
Flash being used again. I don't really know why people
Really needs to step
don't
up her
hold on to
CS.
this. I don't really know why people don't hold on to the summoner spells more tactfully, but well, I can see a lot of mistakes being made today.
That coming from Jarvan, Tryndamere can easily use his E to get out of there, but he decides not to. He doesn't really have to burn all that HP. He could have easily eat out of it, and he does waste his ulti, so that means if Jarvan comes back for another gank, Tryndamere will easily go down. But I don't know why Nasus decides to recall, even though he doesn't really have any mana. He could completely outscale and outlane Tryndamere at the moment, or at least in fact push the lane a bit farther. But
well, he can recall right now because the lane's pushed completely.
That is
Nasus
true.
can easily go back, get items, and teleport back into the lane to put more pressure and take down the top turret as fast
But
as
it looks
he
like
can.
he wants to get a bit more. He wants his blue buff because he's low on mana, and if he does in fact hit his blue, it's only gonna go downhill for Tryndamere. As his ult isn't up, it's almost halfway
And
through
Annie
the
used her
cooldown.
ult on Leona, managed to stun her.
Leona,
This
Jinx
is why I
died.
was really
To
skeptical
Leona.
about the Jinx pick against Leona and a Graves, because
well, that is where the masteries matter, because you don't have those 9 defensive masteries.
And Annie's
that
not
is why
moving at all.
first it-
Tibbers has basically gone to waste.
well, if Annie Oryxens, she could probably go down as well.
Exactly. So she should be careful.
I'm not really sure why she's letting her Tibbers push the lane, however, because that's only gonna set Jinx farther back. But back into the top lane, it looks like Nasus is just farming to his heart's content, getting those
Nasus
stacks
has that
up.
frozen heart coming out. Personally, I like to rush that Icebound Gauntlet on
Nasus
Nasus
is dealing quite a lot of damage to Tryndamere, so
because personally I like that Icebound Gauntlet with that Q stacking up. But let's see how Frozen Heart pans out to be. Oh, a gang coming in for Jarvan. Jarvan doesn't have his ulti.
Wukong's about to go down. He's
Wukong's
really
about
low.
to
You
go
see what
down.
comes with the Wukong
Oh, this
ulti. He
is
does
a
take down
wombo
Akali in
combo.
fact, but he
Akali
goes
is
down to the
dead.
Jarvan.
Combo.
Leona comes down to help.
But Jarvan has taken
help Jarvan,
Punk, and
but Yasuo's just running circle inside the
Yasuo,
fight.
Yasuo.
But he does in fact go down. Actually,
May
no, the
or
flash misses.
Yep, Yasuo
and,
has not
Leona
survived
secures
it.
the kill on
Leona
Yasuo.
managed to kill
It's
him.
the Relic Shield's passive of Leona actually saving that Jarvan. The last hit of that Relic Shield actually healed the Jarvan. So it was a pretty intense fight in the mid. That was the wombo combo I was talking about. The Wukong ulti and knock up and the Yasuo ulti.
That's good for them, but the thing is, it's only gonna go down from there because it's not gonna deal as much as damage as the enemy team gets more tankier and tankier.
Right now, I would say it's an 80% chance the red team has already won the game, because 12 minutes into the game, you cannot see a 5k gold lead, and we see
Yeah, look at the
5,000
CS
gold.
discrepancy between Graves and Jinx. That's just a humongous lead, to be honest. I'd say that's about like 3 kills or even more.
Yes,
Maybe 3.5.
yes,
worth the
it
difference
is-
right
it is
there.
very-
Definitely
it
way
is
more.
as good. You can see a major item difference. One BS sword difference is what those CS can bring out for you, basically. Dragon still not being contested by any
Actually,
team.
it's a bit more than that because Graves has 1600 gold unspent
Yes.
on his pocket, while Jinx only has about 600, which is equivalent to, I guess you could buy a Berserker Greaves, while Graves could get another BF sword on top of that. So that's about a pickaxe difference, I guess. Pickaxe and a BF sword difference.
Over at top lane, Tryndamere is trying to play it safe.
Well, Tryndamere at this point can shed out no damage to Nasus, because this early in the game he has a Frozen Heart completed. Jarvan coming in for a gank again, and he doesn't EQ,
And
just decides
there
to directly
goes
ulti and
Yasuo
came
again.
down.
He could have easily escaped that with his E, pointing to the right direction and got out of it, but he decided not to. I'm not sure what he was really thinking at that point, but he does in fact go down to the combo between Akali and Jarvan goes back into his jungle to get a blue buff. If I were Red Team, if I was Backbenchers, I would try to call for Dragon at the moment, try to force a fight, because you have a bottom lane which is really strong, and your blue side's top lane looks like they might actually die.
Yep.
Oh.
The flash isn't really that necessary, but I guess whatever gets you the kill, to be honest. And he can't hold his stun.
And that turret is going down.
This much, because you can't really trade if you keep holding your stun. She has to use it at one point. And I think they might be going for Dragon.
Annie is holding that stun for too long. You need to
Could have used it whenever Graves was pushing and try to like burst somebody down with it.
Oh, did he? That was a very cheeky scuttle crab steal, I guess. Or not. No, that wasn't a subtle. From Wukong though.
I don't know why Red side is being this passive. Could easily get
They are
Dragon.
way stronger than the blue side. They can.
They don't really want to give them a chance.
Kill all of them. But I guess give chance, Law.
Yeah. Know why Annie's pushing the lane for her? All she should be doing is poking, because she does in fact have the range advantage. She has about 625 on her auto attack, which is really good against the Graves, which with the 525. Yeah, I think he has 525. Yeah, she could easily poke him out of the lane.
That's one of the best advantages of having an Annie support, and he's not using it as
at all.
And well, that's why I prefer buying that Frost Queen's Calm on Annie, because you can stack up on gold and eventually get a hefty item. Graves going all in.
Yasuo does go all in the mid lane, gets a kill on Akali easily, just an ulti and a knockup.
Play by Graves. Akali had no chance to get out of there.
You mean Yasuo?
Oh, sorry.
I think Wukong is pretty much gonna die.
Wukong at this point.
Wukong doesn't use his clone, he might actually go down, but Nasus decides not to chase. Does in fact gets attracted by the scuttle. And
if you look at the map right now, you will see 3 red wards and 0 wards from the blue side. So blue side has absolutely no vision of the map right now. They are so far behind in this game.
Tryndamere should try to hold top lane, try not to push
and he's more trying to push the lane than ward, which is really not a good thing.
See, in no dimension should blue side be able to take the dragon. That's just poor rotations by red side. They could have taken
poor warding and poor judgment both by red side. Oh.
Well, it's not that red side didn't have the wards. They clearly saw blue side going there, but I wouldn't really let blue side get it because you have such an advantage. You don't really want to give them...
I have no clue what Annie is doing rather than warding. Just walking into Nasus.
Well, she has to at that point because she's a support and she has to ward around, but that is definitely not the way to be taken.
Is the thing.
Annie is not warding, she's just walking around.
No, she's just warding.
If she was warding around, I would understand, but she is not warding.
2 of the Sidestone stacks have been used on the brushes. I don't really...
there's one on at river that she just used.
Yep, and 2 of them on the brushes.
I don't know, Jinx looks really
Annie
squishy
hasn't
right
gotten
now.
a sweet cleanse.
Jarvan looking to dive down bottom. Don't know how this is gonna go, but they can easily get the tower. They go for the tower instead of diving, I guess. Nice stun by Annie, but it's not really gonna do much because they overextended, obviously, and Leona gets a really nice ult onto Jinx.
And that will be the end for
Jinx.
That will be the end for Jinx.
Yep.
And a double kick picked up for Graves. I would right now say it.
Baron is gonna come up in around 1.5 minutes.
Oh!
Then it almost goes down.
Flash.
Kong has gone down.
Will Yasuo go down?
Yasuo might go down.
Yes.
Yasuo is going to go down pretty soon.
Nasus can tank the entire tower. They are
dead.
Jarvan's taking down.
It was coming.
Jarvan smites him.
Red side is just on top of Blue's base. They don't really give a care. And
it's game over for me right now. Only a miracle can save them.
A miracle by you mean half of the blue side gets killed, right side, or either red side might DC. Yeah.
Yeah. It's game over right now.
I still think red side could have been a 4v5. That is how strong they are with their champion picks, and not really looking.
Blue side already giving
well
up.
For blue
They're
side.
already writing down that they can't. So I think it's a 20-minute surrender coming up. Because the blue side already writing GG, we can't. So I expect a 20-minute surrender coming out of this game. But let's see what happens. Jarvan trying to be a bit cocky and at the same time...
I wouldn't really call it cocky, but he's being a nice person, giving them some morale boost and stuff. Yeah.
Hope where there's no hope.
I don't really see that happening, to be honest.
Same here.
A 10k goal lead by 20 minutes isn't that
It's not even funny anymore. It is just pure outplay what we've seen in this game.
Well, it's not even outplay. They got outpicked. The comp isn't that well. Like except for the Yasuo and Wukong, like which I agree could have been a bit better if Wukong was at least if Blue side had a tank top.
And you used your Tibbers on Leona. Managed to get a stun down, but it didn't really do much.
You can't really go with Jinx when half of your team is a team comp that depends on diving the enemy side because you'll be left alone against a Jarvan.
And what's interesting is they haven't taken down the single mid turret, but they went 3 turrets inside to kill half of the team. That's how snowballing.
Well, it's only a matter of time until they keep pushing because Nasus is stacking up his.
That's how red team is snowballing right now. That's how hard the red team is snowballing right now.
Well, as flawless as the red team is playing, to be honest, they have made a few mistakes. In no way, in no world that they should have given that dragon for free. Even though it does not matter one bit, it should not have happened either ways. And I feel like looking back at this, they could use that to improve on their dragon calls and basically taking objectives as a team because they spent so much time down bottom doing nothing. If you remember, Akali was down the bottom brush, but they didn't really get anything in return.
Never mind, you can just continue.
Walking around.
Just vision, both seeing each other, both not trying to do anything. Wukong jumping in though.
Here we have another team fight in. Amir got reduced to half health in just one hit.
This could be the blue side wants. A really good fight for blue side. Red side overstayed their welcome.
They might
actually make a really
good comeback if this keeps going on.
They overcommitted. This is all overconfidence. And Jarvan getting in on that flash. Yasuo scoring an ace with that flash.
Yeah, that flash.
Well, still funny plays.
What?
And he just popped the Tibbers to clear down the tower.
Well, we will see eventually if this will
I don't really know what's happening
be
right
an amazing comeback for the blue team.
What they should do is they can easily get the dragon because the mid tower is going to go down for them because they don't really have that much HP on the tower. But they do decide to lurk around in the jungle, try to ward a bit, take the pinks out, I guess, get some map control back, and just regroup for the next fight, I guess.
Well, right now, quite frankly, this looks more like a pub game.
Red team has made a dragon call.
This looks more like a pub game rather than a tournament game to me right now, because it's also haphazard. It's totally unorchestrated drama going here.
And red team has managed to get the dragon.
Really happen.
Blue team couldn't contest right there.
Nasus gets caught. Tibber not really going in.
There wasn't no Tibbers if you remember. Annie had already
And the blue
used
team is going
tribbles
down
to
pretty
push
soon.
You can't really focus
the
down a
blue
tank
turret.
like that.
They're making huge mistakes right now. Jinx completing the Infinity Edge, but I don't think it's gonna make much difference to us. Graves
Nope.
being focused on, but
Graves
still
gets an unofficial
surviving.
pentakill.
Wow.
And looks like they're
Jarvan
gonna
and
get
Akali win.
tower as well.
Yep. Akali and Jarvan getting saved with a sliver of health. But I think
And here they've got a free inhibitor as well.
yep.
That Jinx literally did nothing to them.
Fully team unbalanced. I don't know what he means by that. But
Well, I guess he means that their team is completely unbalanced and
is it their fault? Or
I feel like red team is staying a bit
it is
too
most likely
long
their
than
fault
they should.
because they did not think their comp out very well.
Well, coming into this game, it's pretty obvious red team has the better comp and the better players, but they do in fact make some mistakes of overstaying.
whoa!
And
That
Graves just completely...
meltdown from Graves on Wukong.
Oh, the nice
Oh.
Samir
chip.
goes down.
Stalls the inevitable doom for blue side, but Nasus
Oh!
is
you
uncontrollably
see that
fed with
Q
his Q
hit?
stacks. Yeah.
He will take a quadra kill.
And that's probably the Nexus
And
tower
that's
for
an
blue
ace.
side and the top inner.
That's probably game for the blue side.
Respect the Kane.
The minute I saw their comp, I knew that it's not gonna work out.
They're just pushing and pushing.
Almost a 20k goal lead for red side.
Which is not funny at all.
And they
But-
attempted to surrender.
Looks like blue side isn't on the same page on the surrendering. They still think they have a chance to win.
It looks like
Graves
blue side is
could
not.
get top, but he
Looks like
decides not
blue
to.
side is not on the same page this entire game.
Well, they are on voice chat, right?
I don't even know if they are
I think
agreeing
both the
with each
teams
other
are on
or
voice
fighting.
chat. But
Yep, both the
yet
teams
the
are
blue
on
team
voice
is so
chat,
uncoordinated.
But I guess the blue team is just fighting with each other rather than talking it out because
I
My
think
problem
so
with blue
too.
side is
See?
that I don't really agree with the Jinx pick or the Tryndamere pick. If you have a Wukong and a Yasuo, you want somebody tanky to peel for
I-
the Jinx.
I was completely against the Tryndamere pick once that Nasus was locked down because Nasus counters Tryndamere pretty darn hard. And they still went on for the Tryndamere even though he was very unsuccessful in
I did
the
look
pub
that he did
matches.
play a bit of Malphite, which would have been way better than the Tryndamere. At least
Yes,
he
that's
could
very
have
true.
helped Yasuo ult on top of Wukong and be tanky at the same time, I guess. But I don't know. It looks like a really uncoordinated solo queue game to me.
Annie really doesn't
That's
have
very true.
any items at all.
5 people trying to chase that Nasus down. but I
Nasus
don't
might actually
think-
be able to
Oh,
1v5
that
this.
flash fail!
Nope, he does fail his flash.
Nasus will go
And-
down, but
Gets him killed, but
Well, they managed to shut down
answered,
Nasus,
though.
but
they answer by
Worked out too
finishing
well
off
for
them.
that
Oh my.
team. Triple kill coming for the Jarvan.
They should just end the game at the moment, push the top inhibitor, and
I don't even look at it as a tournament game anymore. I look at it as a pub game. It looks like one of the low yellow pub games you may see some
it
because it is
technically
completely
it is a
unorganized.
low elo game.
But it looks more like a pub game rather than a tournament game right now. But I think the surrender should be coming any minute, or they might take the game any minute. They're just concentrating on pushing it out.
Jarvan could die here, but blue side is so scared. Even pushing out.
They know that they could just get annihilated if they
Hey, wake up.
stepped out of their base.
Oh, Wukong with that ulti.
Don't know about the flash on both sides.
I don't know what he was
That
trying.
Annie should be using her Tibbers, but she decides not to. I don't know what happened to her stun, but they can easily kill Annie off. I don't know why they're flashing towards each other.
This game is turning.
But yeah, that's
but
what I mean about
looks
the
like
Jinx
is going down.
It just doesn't work out with your composition.
So is Annie.
This game is turning out more and more.
Tibbers will
as it
for a while, but
progresses.
not very much.
Yeah,
and
I
the
think
blue
that's
team
game
has
for
all
red
3
side.
inhibitors down.
Thanks for watching, guys. Backbenchers do in fact take the game against the blue side, and is it a best of 3 or is it just a best of 1?
No, it's a best of 1.
All right. So that's game, I guess. Thanks for watching, guys.
Wukong writing in this music.
Oh, these two also not really
this
doing
game
much.
could have been better, but
Jinx does in fact get a kill. She's trying to get a kill onto Jaren, but nope. Dies to the sheer power of Graves.
There
and
goes the
Nexus.
Nexus. I nearly said Nasus.
Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Are we done?